So now there is a thing called cognitive psychotherapy. What they are trying to do is whenever people are having problems, psychological problems, they try to change the way they interpret their circumstances. In a way, this is what Sigmund Freud tried to do also. Because the way we interpret our circumstances depend on the way we learn to think when we were children. Our childhood experiences and the way we interpreted our circumstances as a child begins to affect the way we interpret our circumstances as adults. So this is why Freud wanted to recall the past. And by thinking about the past, we can, with the adult mind, look at it and see that this is only a childish way of thinking. And you can change your way of thinking. It is the same thing but in a different way. So, although at that time Freud didn't understand it fully, but the later cognitive psychologists began to understand this better. And they are using this. And the most interesting thing is, there is a book of verses that you may be familiar with, which is coming from the teachings of the Buddha. It's called Dhammapada. You know that word. The first verse in the Dhammapada, what does the Buddha say? Mano pubbangama dhamma. Mano means that cognitive process. I told you that perception is followed by mano, it is the thinking part of the brain. Interpretation of the circumstance, which is what is called the cognitive process. Pubbangama means precedes, comes before. The thinking part comes before the emotional and the active part. Mano pubbangama dhamma. The thinking part precedes all experience. And he says, Manasache pasannena, manasache paduttena masativa karotiva. If a person interprets the circumstances in the wrong way, that person might become angry or greedy and then act in the wrong way, and as a result producing unhappiness to oneself as well as others. But if a person begins to interpret the circumstances in the right way, then that person will act in the right way, and as a result, everyone will be happy. That is what that verse is saying. So in other words, the Buddha saw this secret behind controlling the mind. And that is how he became a Buddha. Becoming a Buddha is learning to gain full control over the emotions, to completely get rid of three things: lobha, dosa and moha, which is today translated in various ways, but I like to translate it as lust, hate, and delusion. Lust, hate, and delusion refers to the emotions. It is by getting rid of emotions. A Buddha is a person who has got rid of all self-centered emotions. That is the meaning of becoming a Buddha. And all the self-centered emotions carry one very important thing. The self, the I. I want this, or I hate this. The I is the delusion. This is why we talk about awakening from the dream of existence. Existence means I exist. I exist is a delusion. And a delusion means it is not even a concept. A concept is a rational concept. This is an emotional feeling. The self is an emotional feeling. It's not a rational concept. Even if we are fully convinced that there is no such thing as a self, still we feel the self. We cannot give up the idea of self because we are feeling the self, not just thinking self. The thinking came later. It is the feeling that came first. How did the feeling come? Of course, this is a long story. If I begin to start with that, I will need another few hours to explain this. So maybe if we get a chance later, I might be able to talk about it, but I leave this. Now it's almost 7:30, and the only thing is that we are dreaming. We are really unconscious. We are not fully conscious. That's why Sigmund Freud compared our mind to an iceberg. And the iceberg, only the tip of the iceberg comes up above the water, and the rest is under the water. In the same way, our consciousness is only a very subtle thing. We are mainly unconscious. We have to awaken from this dream that we are thinking, I am. It is only by awakening from this dream of existence. Because existence is a fallacy. It is called a static concept in a dynamic reality. The reality is dynamic, changing all the time. But existence is a static concept. We are thinking of existence where there is no real existence.